Welcome, Ravens fans and supporters, to the Unscripted Ravens Talk, a fan podcast. My name is Baltimore Buck, and I'm your host for this amazing podcast. This show talks about all subjects related to the best football organization in the world, the Baltimore Ravens and its diehard fans. My podcast episodes will be published and distributed weekly. Please feel free to like, share, comment, leave a voicemail, and subscribe to my channel at any time. If you want to join me on a podcast episode, please leave your number in my voicemail or send me a direct message and we will schedule an interview with you to be on this podcast, be on my next podcast episode. This blog and podcast are my own opinions and do not represent the views or opinions of the Baltimore Ravens or the National Football League. We are doing our best to prepare the contents of this podcast. However, Baltimore Buck edits cannot warranty the expressions and suggestions of the contents, as well as its accuracy. In addition, to the extent permitted by law, Baltimore Buck edits shall not be responsible for any losses and or damages due to the usage of the information in our podcast. All right, our subject for today, our title for this podcast today will be the Baltimore Ravens, Contenders or Pretenders. Baltimore Ravens, are the Baltimore Ravens contenders or pretenders? That is the question. Our topics today, we will talk about whether the Baltimore Ravens are contenders or pretenders. We will also talk about injuries. We will talk about studs and duds, things to be fixed, and we will preview the Cleveland Browns game and what the Baltimore Ravens need to do to go ahead and win this game. First of all, I want to go ahead and send some shout outs to all my Ravens groups and NFL groups. The following groups, I want to send a shout out to the following groups. We are the Ravens Flock, Ravens Purple Fusion, Be More Purple Pain, AFC North Warzone, Baltimore Elite Squad, Ravens Flock Mexico, NFL Group, the Ravens Flock, Mississippi Ravens Fans, NFL Chat Line, AFC Ravens Flock, NFL Hardcore Elite Squad, 32 NFL Teams Warzone, NFL Trash Talk Uncut. Those are all the groups I am a member of. I love all my fans in those groups and all my networking and my fellow group members. And I hope they're having a good week. And I hope we get this win on Sunday. So we're going to go ahead and get into this podcast so we can get this thing rolling. So our first subject, we want to talk about, are the Baltimore Ravens contenders or pretenders or contenders? All right. I did some research and I found out that 3.4% of all teams that start a season 0-3 go on to make the playoffs. It's only 3.4% of teams that start 0-3 go to make the playoffs. So let's just give you an idea of how teams start and where they end up at. So the Ravens are starting at 2-1 after 3 games. We are 2-1. We're looking good. So we are trending in the right direction. Barring any unforeseen injuries or breakdowns during the season, we shouldn't have any problems of reaching the NFL playoffs this year. Okay. So some of the main things that, some of the problems that are presented to NFL teams during the seasons, as the season go on, okay? So you know the first couple of games, like your first 4 games, the first quarter of the NFL season, the new NFL season, teams are trying to gel with each other. They are learning, okay, especially young teams. You know, your rookies got to get settled in. They got to learn the playbook. Your defense got to learn how, got to mesh, and they got to learn how to get work on their time and their assignments in the playbook also. So, and also the opponents start adjusting to teams, okay, based on films, injuries, and schedules, okay. Some teams will have trouble keeping up throughout the season. Some teams, your playoff teams, will continue to grow. They will get better as the season go on. Some of your teams that are not going to make the playoffs, i.e. the Miami Dolphins, sorry to say, they will start regressing. But our Baltimore Ravens are heading in the right direction. Okay. Once again, the Ravens will feature, as they always do, a good defense. So far in 3 games, they only allowed the opponent to score 17 points through 3 games. That's not a bad statistic. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to look at the numbers instead of looking at a particular game. You got to look at the averages, okay? So numbers play a big part in that. So when the Ravens have a bad game, which they are, we're going to have bad games, we're going to lose some games. I mentioned that in my last podcast, okay? Ain't no such thing as you're going to go out there every week, and people that played the sport of football know this. It's almost impossible to play at a high level week in, week out. You're going to have a bad week. It's going to be a week where you just can't seem to get it together, or your opponent it's just going to seem like your opponent is just out there. They're just going to whip your butt this week. Okay, and it happens. All right, but so far our defense has been doing pretty good. They got some things to fix, and we're going to talk about that a little later. Quarterback Lamar Jackson has bumped his numbers up to 863 passing yards and 7 touchdowns. And the strong running game averaged north of 6 yards per carry. Okay? At this time, the Ravens have the number 1 offense in the National Football League. Who would ever thought that would be possible, right? Okay? I knew it. I'm like, I put, you know what I mean, 2 + 2 equals 4. I put it all together with what they drafted, what they had on the team, the talent of Lamar Jackson, and I'm like, this is going to be a pretty good offense, okay? We all knew that the defense is going to struggle, and they will. I feel as though our defense will tighten up, and they'll become better as the season goes on, okay? Because like Earl Thomas said, you know, it's taking him a little while to get used to the defense, the play calling and the communication, because everything is about the communication with defense. It's very important. So if the defense doesn't communicate effectively, they're gonna blow some assignments, and that's what happened last week with the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. All right. During the season, we do have some rough games. We got Seattle. We got the Houston Texans. We got the Houston Texans, the New England Patriots, and the Los Angeles Rams on the schedule coming up. Those are going to be some hard games, but I feel as though we can match up with any team in the NFL, and we can beat any team in the NFL. Okay, and that's what some of the analysts and some of our professional sports writers are saying, that the Ravens have a team built to play with anyone. Okay, and that was evident. Okay, and that was shown in Kansas City. Lamar Jackson can throw. I came across an article today on Facebook, and the title was "Lamar Jackson Can Throw." I also seen an article from TMZ. TMZ reported from Lamar Jackson college coach Bobby Petrino, which he stated Lamar's been turning up in the NFL this season, sporting an insane 113.9 quarterback rating with 7 touchdown passes. Okay, and his coach and Coach Petrino said, "This is just the beginning. Get ready for the ride." Okay, it's just the beginning with Lamar Jackson. Okay, every week, throughout the week, I'm just going over in my mind over and over and over. What is he going to do this week? What is he going to do on Sunday? That just makes it so spectacular. Okay. Lamar Jackson's really moving up. He's shocking the world with his throwing ability. He's actually a better passer than he is a runner. A lot of people will disagree with that, but like he said, he don't like to run. He'd rather throw the football. That's what he want to do. He wants to throw the football. Okay, and that's what he's going to do, and he's going to get better as time goes on. Also, all right. Coach Petrino said he believes and he expects for Lamar Jackson to win the Ravens, to help the Ravens win another Super Bowl, okay? He said, because that's what he's committed to do, and his action states that, and his practices, his way he handled his business, everything is trending for Lamar Jackson to win a Super Bowl, either this year or sometime in the near future, okay? What some of the people are saying about playing against Lamar. Chief defensive coordinator Spagnuolo used to be with Spags. You know, he used to be with the Ravens. Y'all remember that? Okay, 4 days after playing against Lamar Jackson, he said that yeah, 4 days after playing Lamar Jackson, he said that was crazy. He said that he never seen nothing like that. It was so hard to prepare for him, and it was so hard to play against him that he just couldn't believe it. It was one of the toughest challenges he's ever faced as a defensive coordinator. Okay, that's it. All right, double trouble. Okay, these are some numbers to rave about that I came across. 0. The Ravens have 0 giveaways by the Ravens, making them the only team yet to turn the ball over. Kansas City and Tennessee ranked second with 1 turnover each. 8 quarterbacks hits allowed by the Ravens offense, tying Dallas for the NFL fewest. 16 passing yards, gaining 20-plus yards by the Ravens, tying the LA Chargers for the NFL second most. Kansas City is first with 18 such plays. 20 NFL high rushing plays, gaining 10-plus yards by the Ravens. Dallas, Minnesota, and San Francisco ranked second with 18. 45.5, third and long, 11-plus yards to go percentage by the Ravens, ranking number 1 in the NFL. Baltimore has successfully completed 511 such attempts. Okay, Lamar Jackson, right now at the 3 games, he got 863 passing yards, 172 rushing yards, 7 passing TDs, and 1 rushing TD. Some other notes. Lamar Jackson is the only quarterback in NFL history with at least 850 passing yards and 150 rushing yards in the first 3 games of the season. That's what I'm talking about. Jackson is one of 2 quarterbacks, Michael Vick 2013, with at least 800 passing yards and 150 yards in the first 3 games of the season. Jackson is one of 5 quarterbacks with at least 800 passing yards, 100 rushing yards, 5 TD passes in the first 3 games of the season. Other quarterbacks with 800 plus passing yards, 100 rushing yards, and 5 passing TDs during the season's first 3 games are Steve Young, 1995, Michael Vick, 2013, Cam Newton, 2016, and Deshaun Watson, 2018. All right. Now, we're still talking about all the Ravens contenders or pretenders. Okay. Now, this year, the Ravens has fielded what we have noticed as a result of the 3 games they've played already, that we have a non-typical defense so far this year. And we knew that we was going to have some issues on the defense because we lost so many key pieces of our defense to free agency. Okay. And it's another reason why it's a non-typical Ravens season so far is because the defense is at a problem, not the offense. Normally the Ravens always have an offense that's not that good and a defense that is always real good, okay? Always in the top 10, top 15, top 5, somewhere in there, okay? But we know they're going to fix that as time goes on. The communication will get better. Okay, they'll get more confidence, and they'll trend up. That's only one way for the Ravens to go defensively, and that's up. And now that they know where the weaknesses are, where our holes are in our defense, thanks to the Kansas City Chief and Patrick Mahomes, we know what needs to be fixed, and they will. I have faith in the Ravens and Don Martindale. Wink Don Martindale that he will get that fixed. He will get that fixed quick. Okay. The Ravens have an 80.9% chance to win the AFC North. Those are some pretty good odds, okay? I don't see why they can't accomplish that. And that begins this weekend with the Cleveland Brownies coming to town, okay? Cleveland Browns are coming to town. They'll be there on Sunday. And I am so hyped for this game, and I hope my Ravens are, and I hope all our fans are, and I hope all the Ravens fans are around the world are ready for this game. And it's going to be a show. Lamar Jackson is going to put on a show. Mark Ingram going to put on a show, and we'll talk about that a little later about my predictions and what I see taking place this Sunday. Okay, Freddie Kitchen on the Physical Nations of the Ravens. He say Baltimore Ravens plays football the way it's supposed to be played. They play hard-nosed, smash-mouth football year in, year out. Been doing it since 1996. Okay, if another coach can recognize that, the fans need to also understand that. Okay. I have my name for our 2019 offense. It's called PYP. Okay, PYP. We have the PYP offense for 2019. PYP stands for Pick Your Poison. And that's what the Ravens are doing to defensive coordinators, to the defensive units of teams that are on our schedule in each game. They will have the choice to pick their own poison. Which one, what type of medicine or poison you want for this game, okay? Verdict, as my title for my last podcast, the Baltimore Ravens are contenders. Okay, let's talk about injuries. The Ravens injury reports from Thursday. Mark Andrews didn't practice, but I found out today he will be playing Sunday. Linebacker Taro Alaka will be out. Of course, cornerback Jimmy Smith will be out this week. Safety Brendan Trawick will be out for elbow. Cornerback Marlon Humphrey was limited for a hip, but you know he's going to be playing. Safety Earl Thomas was out. Was a full participant, so he's not injured. The infamous Engraving Vids asks, should the Ravens trade for Von Miller? Okay. If Von Miller is available, should they trade for him? Definitely yes. You will be a fool not to. Okay. He's done lost a little step. I don't know. To me, sometimes when they get those big contracts, it look like their production just falls off. And I think a lot of that is mental or just the coaching. You know, I don't know what to say. But it seems like once they get those big contracts, it seems like things start going downhill for some of these players. All right. My question for our fans, who will be LJ's ankle-breaking candidates for the Brownies in this game? Okay? All right. So just think about that and shoot me an email. Shoot me a comment or whatever. Who you think, who ankles you think LJ will be breaking this weekend? He broke a lot of them last weekend. They was even talking about it, and it was very hilarious and funny. Reading what some of the players from the Chiefs said about Lamar Jackson trying to tackle him. Okay, next we're going to talk about studs and duds. So far after the 3 games or from the last game, and then we're gonna move on from Kansas City and put that in the books because we want to forget that. That was a bad day, but guess what? We went there and we fought hard. One thing I like about our team is that regardless of who we playing, regardless of where we playing at, they're gonna do everything they're gonna play the best they can. Now some Sundays and some games it's not gonna be enough for them. Okay, and we got to as fans, we got to realize that and continue to stick with our team and don't get on them so hard. You know what I mean? They're human. They make mistakes just like we do. The main thing I want them to do is learn from the mistakes. learn from the mistakes, go back and fix the problem, and get out there and do better so those problems won't happen again. Okay, so studs from the Chiefs game, the offensive line. The offensive line was off the chain, okay? That rushing attack was off the chain. I wish they would have done more running in that game than they did, but they felt as though that they needed to do a little more passing. So, that was the coach's call. Maybe they know something we don't know. I wasn't there, okay? But the offensive line played tremendously. Mark Ingram, what can I say about Mark Ingram? I think he done had a flashback that he's back in Alabama, because he's running that ball like he did when he was with the Roll Tide, baby. Mark Ingram can run that rock. I'm predicting Mark Ingram is going to be the rushing leader in the NFL for this year, for 2019. I don't see no one out rushing him this year. Lamar Jackson, of course. Okay, what can you say about this guy? Okay, this guy does not give up. He don't believe in giving up. Okay, he brought our team back just like he did with the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs. He fought to the very end, and you can't ask for no more of that. Okay, even after the game over with, he's looking at film. He's talking to players about what happened. He's on the bench. He's trying to talk to the players. We haven't had that in the past. Okay, that is spectacular to have on our team, and I'm glad that we have him on our team. Willie Snead been making some good plays. Okay, a lot of people not recognizing it. Okay, he's not the fastest receiver in the bunch, but he's been making some clutch plays for us down the stretch. All right, let's talk about some duds from the last game. Tim Williams and Tyus Bowser. How long are we going to be subject to waiting for these guys, or how long are we going to wait for these guys to be productive? Okay, I'm done with them. Okay, I think they need to package those two together and do a trade. You know what I'm saying? Do a trade. They got several different. We have several different options out there as far as pass rusher goes. You know what I'm saying? That we can look at. They got Taco Charlton is out there. Solomon Thomas is out there. Okay. You also got Artie Burns that's out there, even though he's a cornerback or safety. But you got two defensive ends that we could use to fill a void. Okay, so I would package Tim Williams and Tyus Bowser up and go ahead and move on. Some other duds. Kenny Young. I like Kenny Young, but he just looked lost in coverage. You know what I mean? Chris Boyd, lost in coverage. Kennedy, he looked lost in coverage. These guys was just out there. They was lost. Okay, so they need to be, they need some extra training. Okay, they need some extra practice, some extra training for coverage. Okay, for coverage and also tracking the ball. You know what I'm saying? Get the ball, tackle, regain tackle. Okay, see ball, go tackle ball. Okay, and of course the refs. The refs was not our friends. Okay, but we're not going to get into that because people say I'm whining and trying to blame everything on the refs, and that's not the case. All right, we already talked about my thoughts on Mark Ingram and how he's going to be the Russian leader for 2019. Okay, I'm just feeling that, and I don't think that's going to change through the course of the year. Okay, Wink Martindale stated that he believes more sacks and turnovers are coming. He said they come in bunches. Okay, I like that. I like what he said, and I believe him. I believe him because he said the same thing last year. Around about this time, actually, around like after the third or fourth game, he was asked a question about the defense, lack of sacks and blown assignments. Okay, so he said they're going to fix that, and those turnovers going to start coming in, and those sacks going to start coming in. Okay. Also, I found out that Carr and McPhee had a veteran day off. I don't agree in veteran days off. I'm like Coach Belichick, no day off. That's my philosophy. I don't think nobody should have a day off, even after you win a game. I don't think you need a day off. Okay, we only had one sack Sunday. Okay, we had a bunch of pressures, but sacks. I'm talking sacks. Pressures don't excite me. I want sacks. Okay, we had a lot of blown coverages. So defense, any one of those defensive backs shouldn't have been off. Okay, they need to have been in that film room, learning those assignments and knowing and learning and trying to work on improving their communication for this game coming up. Okay, so I just don't believe in no days off for our players in practice. Alrighty, but okay, things the Ravens need to fix before Sunday. Okay, pass coverage. Right now, the Ravens are ranked as 27th in pass coverage. We have never, not in recent memory, been ranked 27 in pass coverage. That is just terrible. I can't believe that. They're gonna have to fix that. They're gonna have to fix that quick. And shouldn't one player being hurt or even two players being hurt cause us to go to 27th? That's just unbelievable. That's just unheard of for a Ravens defense. The rushing defense, we getting up a lot of yards on the ground, and that's very disturbing. You know what I mean? With Brandon Williams, he just got a $55 million contract or something like that a couple years ago. Okay, where's he been? All right, Michael Pierce, you know what I mean? Where's he been at? He's been quiet. Okay, these guys are there to clog that middle of that defense, offensive line, to clog it up. Okay, they clog us. Okay, these running backs shouldn't be finding lanes and creases like they are and gashing us on the off defensive front. Okay, so that rushing defense got to improve. Those linebackers need to get to the ball. Those nose tackles and those tackles need to clog those offensive linemen up, so those linebackers have space to go get the ball. Okay, sacks, pass rush. We got to have more sacks than what we're getting. Okay, got to have more sacks than what we're getting. Now, some of these things could have been fixed in the off season. Okay, inside linebacker I think was overlooked, and I also think that our pass rush was overlooked in the draft and in free agency. You know what I'm saying? And those are the glaring holes that we had coming in without injuries. Now you add injuries on top of that. Now you need a cornerback. You know what I'm saying? So those are some of the things that our team need to look at. And I don't think we have that. We have that production in house. We don't have it. Okay? They was kind of banking on Tim Williams and Taz Bowser to fill in. They were looking for Young and Boyd to fill in as linebackers, and it's not working out so far. Unless something change, and I hope it do. And it need to change quick. Okay, keys to beating the Cleveland Brownies. Hit Baker Mayfield. Hit Baker Mayfield. Do not let Baker Mayfield sit back there in that pocket. Okay, Cleveland got a terrible offensive line. Their offensive line is not good. I don't know what number their offensive line ranked, but it's not good. So our defense should be able to get pressure, and we should have some sacks on Baker Mayfield. If we don't, and he has time to pass that ball, it's going to be a long day at the office. Long day at the office for the defensive backs. Okay, run the football. Run the football. If you want to stop the pass, you want to slow down that pass rush. Okay, they got elite pass rusher. Got some elite pass rushers, and if we don't slow down that pass rush by running the ball, and also by running the ball, you set up the play action. Okay, so it helped our passing. All right, our deep strikes down the field. Another thing is making sure we connect on those deep strikes to Brown, and also get Boykin more involved on those deep passes. Okay, and then we need to start hitting those short routes with Andrews. Okay, defense need to avoid coverage breakdown. We cannot have coverage breakdown come Sunday. Odell Beckham Jr. OBJ normally has a good day, against the Ravens. Okay, I think we played him, I want to say 3 times or maybe 2 times since he's been in the NFL, and both times he had big numbers. So we're gonna have to eliminate that, and we're gonna also have to watch out for Jarvis Landry also. All right, so I'm hoping that defensive, I hope that our back end tighten up, and we can eliminate some of those big plays that we saw against Kansas City. All right, so that's the keys for beating the Cleveland Browns. I think the Ravens are going to pull out this win on Sunday. I think Lamar Jackson is going to have a phenomenal game. I think Mark Ingram is going to have a good game. I think Mark Andrews is going to have a big game. I believe Miles Boykin is going to have a good game. Willie Snead is going to have a good game. And of course, Hollywood Brown, Lamar Jackson is going to tear it up. So get ready for a show, folks. Okay, let's go ahead and get this dub. And I will see y'all. I will talk to y'all again next week. And we will talk about our next opponent and other issues that we have and some other topics for my next show. All right. I want everybody to be safe out there. Keep it real. Love one another. Okay. And let me know how y'all feel about my podcast. You know, if I need the improvements I need to make, something I need to add, talk to me. Give me some feedback. I just want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to listen to my podcast. I really appreciate it. And like I said earlier, if anybody want to be in on this podcast, please feel free to join me at any time. All right. This is your boy, B More Buck. I'm out of here. Have a nice day. Go Ravens.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.